For anybody who hasn't done a signing service yet, there's two different types we'll be covering: DocuSign and Digital Ink 2.0. First of all, let's figure out who I am. So in case you didn't attend the first class, my name is Leo Luera. I'm the Supra membership specialist. I started in 2007. Started in membership services and progressed up to becoming the Supra key specialist, and also an office trainer. And I've taught a number of different topics, including zipForms, Supra, and some other membership topics. If you need my email address, it's leo@ocrealtors.org, and that's my phone number, 714-375-9313, and my extension number is 239. And we're going to be covering, excuse me, we're going to be covering, like I said, how to use DocuSign for those who have a DocuSign account, and those who have a Digital Ink 2.0 account. That's going to be everybody that uses zipForms. And then in between the class, in the ways we do it, we're going to show the differences and similarities between the two, and then answer any questions for you. So to get started, Digital Ink 2.0. Let me back up a little bit. The reason why I sound a little winded is because I'm recovering from COVID-19. So I apologize, but I am at the tail end of it. Knock on wood. So the similarities and the differences are between Digital Ink 2.0 is Digital Ink 2.0 is free with your CAR membership. So not every realtor association nationwide has Digital Ink 2.0 as being a free benefit. In this state of California, we do. So you have free unlimited signatures. You have the signature font styles are limited, and it only uses PDF formats. Whereas DocuSign, it's used in different industries, and it's a paid service. So if you have the free version like I'm using, it's 5 free documents per month, and you can use the unlimited service, which is a comparable one to Digital Ink 2.0, at $240 a year. They have more signature font styles if that matters to anyone. Most people don't really care about the different font styles, but for those that do. And then it can also do more formats than PDF, like Microsoft Word. So you can do a electronic signing with a Microsoft Word document in case you need to do that. But within zipForms, we only use the PDF version because once it's finalized, it's locked and nobody can unlock it. There's a few things to be aware of. There's some forms that can be signed electronically, which is the great majority of them, and there's some that cannot. For the latest information, you want to double check with the California Association of Realtors Legal Hotline, and they can be able to assist you with those type of questions. As a fast rule, we at the Orange County Realtors, we cannot provide you with legal advice because we're not professionally trained to do so. So once again, it's the California Association of Realtors that can provide you with the legal advice that you need. And then there's more information there. And there'll be more, and these forms will change over time as the California Association of Realtors Legal Department makes changes to the forms. Some forms will disappear and some will be amended, and then some will have new names. So just wanted you to be aware of that. The great thing about this webinar is that it's being recorded, so if you want to, you can always review this at a later time. You don't have to necessarily write all this information down, speed write all this information down. So you could just check, lean back and enjoy it. So I'm going to get out of this, and then let's practice using DocuSign as a signing service. So we'll go into a listing that I created last class was this one. And this is just going to be a regular DocuSign account service. Oh, by the way, how do we switch between the two services, DocuSign and Digital Ink? Well, there's two different ways to do it. Let me show you from the profile and settings. So when I click Me, I choose Profile and Settings. And then I go into Settings, do make sure that all your information is correct there. Do make sure your office information is correct there under Offices. But under Settings, this is where you would switch between Digital Ink 2.0, which requires you to put in the right time zone, and then DocuSign. You would link your DocuSign account using your user ID and your password that you created within your DocuSign service. Now, most people who are not familiar with both Digital Ink and 2.0 and DocuSign are wondering, why would I want to get a DocuSign account? Honestly, it might be because that your supervisor, your boss, has said that you have to get a DocuSign account. So you have to. But for zipForms, you don't have to. You can simply use Digital Ink 2.0, which is already built into zipForms. You don't have to do anything additional because by default it's that. But for those who want DocuSign, you would click the DocuSign to link it up and log in with your user ID and password that you created from DocuSign, and that way you can be able to take advantage of this paid service. And once again, it's $240 a year to use the comparable one that is comparable to the Digital Ink 2.0. So I'm going to save my option of DocuSign, and we're going to practice using DocuSign for this transaction. So I click Transactions, and I'm going to go back into Charlene, look at Nigel, and then we're going to go into Documents. Now, in this demonstration, we're going to have just one buyer. In your real-life scenario, you're going to have more than one buyer. You may even have 3, 4, 5 buyers. There's an additional form that you have to use. You want to contact CA or Legal to verify the correct name of the right form to add additional signers, additional buyers, for example. But in this example, we're going to show you with just one buyer. So every document that I'm going to send out to my client has to have an action on it that the client has to do to it. So in the prior class, we talked about the cover sheet. The cover sheet is really for us to input information into it. I'll show you what a cover sheet looks like. So I would input all this information, my buyer information. Since I'm representing the buyer, I'll leave that alone, the seller information alone. And I would fill in all this other information that I need. Fill it all up so that way it'll transfer all this information all to the other forms that I need. But I don't need to do so because, well, frankly, I'm just focusing only on this particular transaction. So, cover sheet, don't have to worry about anything about it. Residential purchase agreement, agent visual inspection, Orange County local area disclosure, this fictitious document that we threw together. So let's practice doing an e-signing with DocuSign. So I'm going to click e-sign right over here in the corner. And then when you see new with the plus sign, you always click that. Your screen would look like there would be nothing here. I canceled this other signing session. So I'm going to click new. I'm going to click the forms that I need signatures done on. So I'm going to choose these 3. Residential purchase agreement, a local area disclosure, and listing agreement. After I've done that, and I can add more documents if I wanted to from, like let's say there's another document that your boss has said that your broker has said that has to be included with it. You can add the documents there by clicking this. But I don't need to in this practice session. And I'm going to call this my DocuSign session. By default, it's going to have its own name, and you can change it to whatever you wish. But by default, I'm making it DocuSign. If you want to switch between the different signing services, you can do so here by choosing Digital Ink 2.0. So if you made a mistake saying, oh, I didn't want to do the DocuSign session, I want to go through Digital Ink, or vice versa, you can do it right here in this number 1 in Select Forms. So, DocuSign, these are the documents we're going to have for signing. If there's any that are mistaken that I did not want to put in there, then I can always click this trash can and get rid of it. Click delete. But I'm going to use all these 3. and then I click Next. There's my one client, Charlene, and then I close it. And then we see that Charlene is the only person. If we had multiple buyers, multiple individuals that are going to be signing, they would have a signing order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. As a rule of thumb, I like them in numerical order so that way I can talk to every individual because of my fiduciary duty as an agent to make sure I go over what they're signing for. I never want to be accused of someone who had someone electronically sign documents that they were not familiar with what they were signing. I don't want to be involved in any kind of lawsuit 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now by someone saying that they never were told what they were signing for. So it's very important that you go over the material, what your client is signing, even if they said, oh yeah, I know what I'm signing for. Still go over the material with them, just to cover and protect yourself. So, if I put in the signing order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can be able to go over each individual person one at a time before they sign it. And that's the email address. If there's any mistakes on the email address, I can always click this and then make corrections. And if there's multiple individuals and I said, oh, that person's not supposed to be on the list, I can click the trash can and get rid of them. But it's just one person, Charlene client. And then it goes to the next session. Now this next part, it takes a little bit of time. If your internet's not the fastest, this would be like kind of a long pause before it goes to everything. Because it has to pull in the documents. Then it has to highlight the areas that are already pre-filled, as well as the information sections that are already pre-highlighted from the California Association of Realtors. The California Association of Realtors highlights the areas that are that have to have some kind of action to it, like this. That's true for DocuSign and Digital Ink 2.0. There's no other digital signing service like Adobe Sign that would have this. And honestly, the great majority of the time, these will already be filled in. There will be sections where you'll notice that, oh no, it needs to have a check mark, checkbox, or some kind of action that's missing. So it's make sure that you go over the document first before you send out for signatures. Just don't assume that the California Association of Realtors has done that part of it, because ultimately you're responsible for these documents being sent out. So you go over one page, and then you see here on the right hand side the different pages. So you can go directly to a certain page and take a look at it if you wanted to. You can if you wanted to. That's one thing that's kind of nice about this. And you can go to and that's the last page of this particular form, the RPA. And then there's the local area disclosure, which I do like how they broke it up into the different documents, whereas the one above was RPA. This one's a Orange County local area disclosure form. I scroll down and then I go to that last form that I created, the listing agreement. And there it is. And this is where this is that PDF that we added that I have to drag and drop functions that have to be on there. So for example, date sign, if I click and hold it and I just drag it over, then I have date and sign right there. And then I have formatting selections here. And then text, I can be able to drag and drop it here. And I can put in read only. I can click it. That's one thing I like about this. It gives me the option of read only, and I can type in what I need to put in. So Laguna Hills. Oops, Laguna Hills. Okay. And then we go into another drag and drop. So we'll go into, let's go another date. Date sign. And let's go person's name. Put her right there, make it a little bit easier to see. And then a signature. Signature, drag and put her right there. There we go. Alright, so these are the items that we put in here. And this will be reflected when we send the document out to the client. If you wanted to preview it, we can click preview, and that way you'll see what your client is going to see. If you practice enough going back and forth doing it like this, you'll get an idea. See, the client would click start, and then it goes directly to the next stop. There we go. Click. We don't want the client just to click and start, click start, and next, all that. We want to make sure that we cover all the information with the client. We don't want to pretend this is some kind of video game. No. So it's important that we go over, make sure we cover all the information. I can't. Oh, what happened? Did I close my session? Oh, I think I did. Oop. Cancel. Uh-oh, what did happen? Sometimes I make mistakes, and as you see, I made a mistake. Okay. Where was I? Retry login. With the power of the internet. Sometimes things happen, so no problem. I'll just have to log back in. That's one thing you'll notice with CAR is that you have to sometimes log out and then log back in. Can't tell you why that happens. I know that, like every other website, they try to keep things secure, so that way you don't leave your information up. So if somebody were to hack your computer or walk up to your computer, they can be able to log in and take advantage of your login credentials and do some very bad stuff. So let me quickly get into it. I'm back in this transaction. And come on. There we go. And e-sign right there. And let me see if I can get in. Can I get in? I'll just have to do a new signing session, which is okay. It's just a kind of a bit of a hiccup. And I know it's more of a hiccup to you because when you're helping out a client, you're going to be talking about a lot of places that need signatures and initials, etc. Let me just double check this document, make sure my initials are there. Yep, they're all there. Good. Okay, good. Okay, now I send it out to the client. So everything's been done. So I sent it out to the client. It's on its way out. Thank you. Thank you. So now we just wait for the client. So this gives you the opportunity to contact the client and let them know that you're sending documents over to them for the electronic signature. Now to see what it looks like on the other end, let me get into the email account because I want you to be able to see what it looks like. So now Charlotte, my client Charlotte, is going to be receiving an email in just a moment. There we go. Let me get rid of that. These are other ones that were of another signing service. So Charlene's going to get this email, and she's going to open this up. Charlene will see that my agent has sent me a document to review and sign, and it tells me what forms I'll be signing. And thank you, Leo. Review documents. Now it's very important that you have that conversation with your client saying not to sign anything until after we go over all the information together. Here is electronic record and signature disclosure. So I would recommend that you print this out and save it. So that way you have it handy in case your client has any questions about what their rights are. You have to be the one confident enough to give this information over to your client. So if they have questions regarding this, you can easily email it to them, print it, give it to them in person. So I strongly recommend, once again, you print that out to assist your clients. If your client is okay with this, they're going to agree to the electronic records and signatures. And by the way, the whole digital signing service is dependent on your client to have access to a computer or tablet, have access to an email address, and they're comfortable using that device to be able to do electronic signing, and then all parties are okay with electronic signing, electronic signatures. So if any of those are no, then you don't want to do this. You want to go through the process of typing up all the information, printing it, and then handing it to the client, or sending it to have a courier send it out to your client to do this. But once the client is okay with this, and they've agreed, then they'll click continue. So, like we did just a moment ago, if we click Start, it automatically goes to the first spot. You have to do a signature on it. Now, once the client clicks it, the client has to choose a font style of some sort. So they could choose ones that are already here, like I'll choose this one. They could draw their own if they wanted to, or if they have one already created, they can upload it if they wanted to. But I'm going to use this particular one. Charlene client prefers to use this one. So we're going to click Adopt and Save. And by the way, if you're looking at all the different font styles, there it is. I mentioned that before, that DocuSign has a lot more font styles than Digital Ink, if that matters to somebody. So Adopt and Sign, and I click it. See how fast it went? It went to the very next spot without giving me the opportunity to cover any information. So it's all the way up here where she signed. And so there it is. I zoomed in. So it's important that she understands that what she's signing, and it shows the time and date stamp, etc. right there on the side. And then scrolling down to the next spot, we'll go over that together, and then she'll click Sign. And of course, it keeps highlighting there like what she has to do. Here we go, Initial. She'll just click to Initial, just like before. But of course, you're doing your fiduciary duty to make sure that she understands what she's initialing and that she's okay with the terms. There is one checkbox that's coming up that is optional, and I'll show you what. You'll see that this color is kind of a gold color, and the color for the other one is also gold. It's just that it's highlighted and says optional initial here, and then written in very small lettering down here it says optional as well. So if the person doesn't want to sign it, they simply just scroll down to the next one. And then here's another optional, and they can choose this one if they wanted to and exclude the other one, and that's okay. So if you click this, and click this, and then so on. That was the signature, initials, signature. You're getting the idea. This is the world's worst video game ever, I know. Now we're in the Orange County disclosure form. See, let me go back up. See? Orange County local. Now this was created by our board of directors and our staff, and this is only intended for those who are realtor members with our association, not any other association, whether they're secondary or primary, doesn't matter. And then there's this one. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, like, how far along is this person in it, the box is right here, so it kind of tells them how far they're at. They're page 3 of 5. It doesn't really kind of tell them like how much more they have to do. But you can just tell that based on where this location of the box is at, this gray box, they're pretty close to the bottom. Now, up here is that Orange County, that fictitious document that we threw together. Has the date and time, the city, and then also the signature required there, and the date and the individual's name. And sign. And then let's see, if there were no spots missing, I can click Finish. If I wanted to print it, I wanted to download it, I could. But as a rule of thumb, we don't do that until it's been finalized, and this is after we have the clients fill out everything, because they will receive a finalized copy of everything they sign. So if I click Finish, this is Charlene seeing this. Charlene is now going to be offered to sign up for our free DocuSign account. They can save a copy of their document from their DocuSign account if they wanted to do that. They don't have to if they don't want to, because honestly, they'll get one email to them, and then honestly, you'll have it in your records within your zip vault. That's what we call it, zip vault, for up to 7 years. So, in this practice session, Charlene client does not want a DocuSign account. So, and that's it. She's finished. Okay, so she's done. So what next? Well, Charlene's getting another email. There it is. Charlene, the client, received another email. She can view the documents, and the attachments are right here. So she can either open the attachment or she can click the link, either one. And here she can be able to print it, save it, because now it's a finalized copy, showing the date and the time and the digital signing number as well. So that's for the records of our dear friend Charlene client. And so that's what it's going to appear on that side of your client. I'm going to hit archive and put it away. So that's DocuSign. I'm going to do digital ink. But before I do digital ink, did anyone have any questions about that? And as you can see, it was kind of direct. You know, the button says this, you do it, kind of thing. But it's going to take some time to practice with it. And honestly, do create a email account. I created a Gmail account to be my fictitious client email account. So that way I could be able to see what it looks like from the agent perspective, and I could see it from the client's perspective. So that way when I work with a client, I can have that confidence saying, you know what, you should see this because I've done this at least, billion times. So so that's it for that one. For DocuSign. Not exciting, I know. But I'm just showing you how to do this, I'm just showing you. Now let's going to go to Digital Ink 2.0. So, same transaction, same person. Documents. Here's the documents. I'm going to choose e-sign. Yes, I can go to me. I can go to Profile and Settings and change the signing service, but I'm just going to go through this way. I'm going to click the plus sign. So once I click the plus sign, I have to send over the documents that I want signed by my client. See, the 3 documents. We'll call it Digital Ink 2.0 session. And then we switch it from DocuSign to Digital Ink. See? Maybe I should capitalize that D. Okay, make it look pretty. All right, so those are my 3 documents, and now I click here for next. I click my client. And I could click me too if I wanted to, but we're just going to show one individual. And once again, if I had more than one signer, more than one buyer, I want to put them in order, so that gives me the opportunity to go over the information with them. With Digital Ink 2.0, I can add a reviewer like a transaction coordinator. They'll see the documents at the very end after they've been electronically signed. Cybersecurity protection, this is different. This one is offered by Digital Ink, ZipLogic, zipForm, Lone Wolf, the parent companies. It's $5 for this transaction, regardless the number of signers, regardless the number of documents that you put in here that it needs to be sent out for signing, digitally signing. It's just $5. What it does, it creates a second layer of security, like a 2-factor authentication. So Charlene client will receive a text message with a special code, and she has to use that code to be able to take advantage of the signing. Otherwise, if she doesn't have that code, she can't sign it. You don't want someone from her home to use her home computer to impersonate her to sign documents. So it's important that, I would say it's very important. It gives a little extra peace of mind, so that way the client is not going to be worried that someone's going to hack her computer or his computer and worry about that. Do you need to click, here's a question from Connie, do you need to click the show signature key icons on signed documents? Do you need to click the show signature key icons on signed documents? Do you need to click the show signature key icons on signed documents? Do you need to click the show? I'm sorry that I'm reading this a number of times, because I'm trying to remember what the show signature key icon is. I don't think so. Go back to the last screen. Oh, Connie, you're awesome. Thank you so much. You're a time saver. I'm like, what? Okay. Let's go back. Going back. So show signature key icons on signed documents. Oh, that's what you mean. I'm blushing. You can't tell because I have COVID. Um, Stop laughing. It's bad for me when I have COVID. No, you don't have to click it. Honestly, I've never clicked it before, but you know what, Connie? Let's click it and see what happens. I've never clicked it. So, going back, we got Charlene. Good. And we're not going to do the cybersecurity because we're just practicing. We don't need the extra peace of mind. This is where the ability you can change the time zone if you needed to. This is unique to Digital Ink 2.0. So in case you're helping out your client in Arizona, you can be helping them with that time zone, but for a California transaction. Remember, these documents are only intended for transactions within California. And then we click Next. I am curious, Connie, if what will appear. Okay. So, Digital Ink 2.0, sometimes that takes a little bit long to load this, what we see here, depending on your internet speed and how many documents it has to upload. But as you see here, this is the documents. Now, in DocuSign, the document was right in the middle, and then you had stuff on the right and stuff on the left. However, on Digital Ink, it's just on the right-hand side. We have the clients that are going to be signing. Okay. Then we have the drag and drops. We could drop signatures, dates, etc. on there. And click it again, mark it. Now, if you do any marking, you're going to be altering the document. So if you're practicing sending information back and forth to individuals to have them pay attention to something, remove it before it's a finalized document. Like, for example, if you highlighted a certain section, it may blur or black out some of the wording, and you're not supposed to black out any of the wording that's on a CAR document. You don't have the authority to do that. You could zoom in if you wanted to. You can go to different pages. This is what I like. I can go to a certain page. I can go to whatever page I wanted to, or I can go to the very last page. I don't have to choose between the different documents. I could if I wanted to, but yeah, and it tells me what the different documents are. See? So, but if I go into the very last one, listing form B, then that's where I'm at. Since we're here at the listing form B, and by the way, these are all pre-highlighted for the most part. I would still take the time and go over it just to make sure that all of the fields are supposed to be highlighted and clicked, etc. So, because that's still your fiduciary duty as an agent. Date. I'm going to put the date right there. And markup, the text box. All right, there. Okay, close it up. And then just move this up a little bit. Oh, come on. You're making me look. I don't like the way that looks. There we go. And then we'll type in Laguna Hills. Okay. And then let's say we want to check mark a box. Okay, we're going to drag and drop a check mark. I don't know. Check box. Check box? We'll check that box right there. Let's say the person has to initial somewhere. Right there. We're practicing. I know it's not a right spot. And we'll still need a signature sign here. Right down. I'll put it down here to make it easier to see. Now, this sprocket down here, gear icon, the setting icon, if I click it, this whole new window opened up. Now I can add a name block. Now what does that mean? The name block appeared right over here, and I could drag and drop that name block right here where it belongs. And same thing, click the sprocket. That's what it's called, like on a bicycle sprocket. And I can click the add date stamp. I can drag it and put it right there. So now I have the date, the name of the client, and the client's signature will be right there. And then I can click next after I'm done altering this document with all the things I can do to it. See, so your options are here. It's easier to keep track, in my opinion. It's on the right side. This part is different. Let me say that again. This part is different compared to DocuSign. DocuSign just sends it out. This part gives me the option to customize an invitation email. So I could write down documents to review and sign. Well, let's make that a capital S. Capital S. There we go. Hello, Charlene. Please, do not sign any docs without me going over these with you. Thank you in advance. You could choose whatever writing you want, but I would say that this is very important so that way you're giving some last minute instructions to your client before they open up this email, because you don't want them to start automatically just click and click, 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 electronically signing, because they may not understand what they're signing for. Now I can send the invitation. It's on its way out, and yeah, it's on its way out. I can close that up and then wait for the inbox to pull up the email. Now it's going to show up in just a moment. And then documents review and sign. I'm going to click there. And there we go. So the email looks different than it did in DocuSign. So it says the agent, me, is inviting you to participate in a signing as a signing party and authentic sign e-signature document signing. I can't even talk, sorry. So there's the name that I created. Of course, you can change it to a different name. You can change it to the name of the address if you wanted to, that you're putting the offer on. Then I wrote down, hello, Charlene, please do not sign any documents without me going over these with you. Thank you in advance. Start signing. Because I want to make sure that my client understands what they're signing. For some clients, it's going to be, this will be the biggest transaction of their life. So it could be the first time they're buying a house, could be the 13th time they're buying the house, but still it might be, every transaction is important. Charlene has the option. Now, in DocuSign, you didn't have this option until you click to start signing. This one automatically makes Charlene saying, either you draw your signature or you don't. Or you can choose a font style. And then there's a font style right there. So I'll choose that one. And then I click Save. See? Now, this is also very important. I would recommend that you would go ahead and print these up and save these so that way you can be able to share this with your client in case they have any questions regarding this. So this is a consumer consent disclosure and the EULA agreement between all parties. So it's important that you have this readily available to go over this with them so that way they understand what they're signing for. And of course, just like before, all parties have to be okay with electronic signatures. So now I click Accept. Now Charlene can be able to progress. Now look at progress, 0%, zoom, page 1 of 32, options, etc. So it gives her an idea like how many things do I have to sign, or how far I have to sign. So I click Start as Charlene, but you can have her just scroll down, and that'll be fine. And then she can just click. Boom, it went to the next stop right there. Just like it did with DocuSign. 1 of 34 mandatory fields and signatures. So you do want to make sure you go over this with your client. To speed up the time, because this is the world's worst video game ever, I'm just going to click, click, click until we get to the optional section. See, we have kind of highlighted in blue with gold is the mandatory initials. That's not optional. I'll show you what the optional one looks like because it looks far different. Ah, there it is. See? Highlighted in blue differently a little bit. Has a check mark and an X. So if I were to click it, Charlene, now Charlene has this dialog window that pops up. Accept, decline, cancel. So now we would review this together to see if she's okay with it. And when I clicked Accept, See, it automatically goes. So if I scroll back up, like, did it work? Yeah, it did right there. And if she says no to this, well, then she can decline it, and so on. Okay. So I wanted you to see the differences between the optional choices, because sometimes when we do the optional choices, we're like, I really can't tell if it's optional or if it's a mandatory field or not. We're at 29 of 34, so we're almost done. See, that's what I like about this, that you can see this is like, how far along am I in? How much longer? There we go. Oops. Oh, it's either A or B. Oh, I got it. And what else? And sign. Now the agent, the client can either stay and review or complete signing, and then they complete the signing. There we go. She clicked OK. And now the next step will be ZipLogix is offering her a Zip Community account, a free account, so that way she can retrieve these documents through Zip Community, ZipLogix, Lone Wolf, same thing. It's free. If she does want to do this, recommend not to use Facebook or Google Plus, because these two entities don't need to know that she's doing financial business, because we are concerned that they might collect data on her. How much data? I don't know. Be on the safe side. Just don't recommend these two ways. Have her create an account. But honestly, she does not need to create an account. If Charlene's going to be one of my investors, I'm going to be working with on a regular basis. Okay, maybe. But if this is going to be the first transaction in a while, maybe once every 5 to 7 years, no, she doesn't need to, because she's going to be emailed the forms to her, and you as the agent you're going to have those forms readily available in your zip vault for up to 7 years. So we're going to decline it, and then we go back out, and then you'll see that yes, Charlene has received an email, and it says yes, she has a copy of it, so she can click here to get the signed documents. You can also get the signing certificate, and here's the links to those documents as well as those signing certificates. What's a signing certificate? It just shows proof that she's the one that electronically signed these documents. This is really important. This does not want to be deleted, because this is the proof that she did the signing service, and she can claim in the future that, oh, I never signed for anything. Like, well, I have information showing that you did. You did, and we have information from the computer saying that you did. We went over this together, and you can also put notes on the transaction that you went over this with her. So that's the digital signing service, and this is from the perspective of the client. You'll receive a copy of this email as well. On zipForms, if we go back out, and then we go back into Charlene, you will see that we go into Documents. Let's go into Documents. You will see that there's this folder here that says DocuSign Session and Digital Ink Session. So if we click DocuSign Session, these are the finalized PDFs. And you could see that there's the 3 documents that you signed, the summary, and of course we don't want to delete the summary, because this is DocuSign's proof to you that your client has signed these documents. So don't delete these. These are very important. This is your legal proof. You can print it, you can send it, email if you wanted to, as well as any of these documents. If you want to take a look at the digital ink version of it, the icon looks a little bit different, but the idea is still the same. So we go to Digital Ink 2.0. Yeah, it does look different because it's an authenticated, finalized PDF. And the signing certificates are all here. And once again, don't delete them. This is very important to keep. So that's one session of DocuSign and Digital Ink. So as you see, they behave very similarly. But when it comes right down to it, it's just a matter of what your preference is. If you're comfortable with DocuSign, use DocuSign. If you're okay with paying for DocuSign, use DocuSign. If your employer is saying use DocuSign, use DocuSign. But if you want to save some dollars and it's okay with your employer, then use Digital Ink 2.0. It's built into it. Take advantage of it. It gives you the extra option of extra level of security using the two-factor authentication, which DocuSign doesn't have in this. You see it's kind of easier, in my opinion, a little bit easier for your client to understand how far along are they in the signing process. Because they can look up and say, oh, you have 75% done, or you have 31 of 34 done. So that way, in case they're like, how many more do I have to do? You could just say, well, it shows right on top of the screen how many more you have to do. So that's kind of it for electronically signing. Any questions with anybody? And before I say any questions, going back to Connie. Connie, I didn't see anything unusual with the icons, except, yeah, maybe that it showed the initials and doing it. But I honestly didn't think it was something out of the blue. So I'm gonna have to practice with this again and again, because I honestly never clicked that button and never noticed anything different. But I invite you to do the same and see if you can see if there's any difference. But anybody have any questions regarding the signing services of DocuSign and Digital Ink 2.0? And honestly, I did talk a lot. Sorry, I'm not supposed to be laughing. Gosh, being sick like this does steal your thunder. Okay. So in the first class, let me see. Ah, there we go. In the first class, we were kind of cheated. I couldn't show you something called Forms Advisor and Forms Tutor. It's found underneath the transaction tools. So these are kind of a quick tip that's not related to signing services. But I couldn't show you like Forms Advisor and Forms Tutor. That can be found on CAR's website. But the mortgage calculator I do want to share with you because honestly I think it's kind of a wake-up call of how to see if your client can be able to afford how much of a home they can be able to afford. So let's just say the interest rates are 7.25% for this person. Loan amount, let's say it's $800,000. Okay. We're not going to fill out the rest of it. Term, 360 months. Okay. So the monthly payment is $5,457.41, roughly $5,500. And if we did a display table of it, we'll see that we have a long, like how many months? Like okay, 1 month. Our payment mostly goes toward interest. Some of it goes to principal, and then it keeps decreasing and flip-flops later on. So that way our balance decreases. So if I go all the way down the bottom, it shows that on an $800,000 loan with a 7.25% interest rate, the interest is $1.164 million. Yeah, so that's a lot of interest. So $800,000 loan, 1.164 of interest. That's a lot. And that's for somebody who's paying on an $800,000 loan. Now, if we were to say, all right, let's say the interest rate is down to 5.25, then now we have a different monthly rate of $4,417. How much does that make the change there? So, dragging it all the way down, we see that now on an $800,000 loan, now the interest that they've paid on the loan is $790,346 and 54 cents. Don't forget the 54 cents. So it's kind of a wake-up call to say, like, how much a person can be able to afford, um, and how much interest they'll be paying on a loan over the course of 30 years or whatever. So mortgage calculator already built in there, so you can take advantage of it. And you don't have to go Google search one if you don't want to. You can use any mortgage calculator, but this one's just built into zipForms. Here's one of those little tips for you. And if you need any help, there's a help button here. There's a guided help here that can also assist you. Our dear friends at CAR also provides assistance, and they can be able to assist you with your zipForms questions more than I could. If you have questions regarding it, let me get you that phone number. There we go. This is something I created and put together. Because why? Because, I had, besides free time, I wanted to make something easier so that we could be able to understand it. So this is the phone number to contact zipForms. This is CAR support, 213-739-8227. They're open Monday through Friday. They're usually out by 4:45 p.m. They have limited hours on the weekends. However, ZipLogix, the parent company for zipForms, that is available 24 hours during weekdays, excluding holidays. Weekends are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. our time. And that's their phone number. This 586-840-0140. The CAR Legal Hotline, 213-739-8282. Because I'm not able to answer those legal questions. None of our staff can. Our friends at CAR Legal can. If you need additional support, there is the phone number for Lone Wolf support. And then we also have our video library. So you can go to our website, and we have a number of different topics. If you want to see a different version of this class taught, let's go take a look. Let's just take a look. I can show you what that looks like. So, yeah. So we go to our website, ocrealtors.org. There it is. We look under the drop-down menu of Education. Look at Education. Let me move this here. Education, and we look at the video library. When we click the video library, there's a number of different topics that we cover. Supra, zipForms, and I click zipForms. And then these are the different videos that we have recorded, and it's going to be found on our YouTube channel. And you'll find it here. So if you're wondering, like, is there a different version of this class that Leo just did right now? Yes, right here. Hour and 25 minutes. So you can be able to watch this class and compare the different notes. Now, I teach the class one way. Anthony teaches it a different way. Anthony Breed, our other instructor. And he can go over that information with you in the video. And you can just probably pick up a few more pointers. That's different than the way I do it. But ultimately, you have resources there to be able to assist you. So, with that, any questions that you have for me? I'm going to stop sharing because I am open to questions. And I do think that everyone came here and joined me today. And I think that all of you were able to tolerate this nasally voice. And I do thank you for participating. And Chad, thank you. Thank you. I intend to get better ASAP. I am a grump when I'm sick. So, and that's not fun. So with that, we'll end our class early. I wish you nothing but great things and great success out there. And if you need to reach me, I might as well pull up the PowerPoint. Here we go. This is my contact information. My email address, leo@ocrealtors.org. My phone number, 714-375-9313, and my extension number is 239. And if I'm not available, if I don't pick up the call, go ahead and leave me a voicemail. I can get back to you as soon as I possibly can. All right. With that, I wish you a wonderful and exciting day, and I look forward. We have another class coming up at 3:30 today. So you need to sign up for the class within the next 6 minutes before 2:30 if you haven't done so yet, because we have a 1 hour buffer where we don't do any signings All right, with that, you have yourself a great and exciting day. Bye-bye now.